What's going on, guys? It's Lombardo here with Lambo Media, joined by special guest Connor Hinchliffe. He is in the Philadelphia Phillies organization. Thank you for joining, Connor. Connor, how you doing, my man?
What's going on? Everything's great. Thanks for having me on, man.
Of course, thank you for joining. So first and foremost, your first season of minor league baseball is this last season in 2019. What surprised you the most in your your first season of pro baseball?
I guess just the competition and really getting like a firsthand view, obviously, of what professional baseball is like. I came from Division I baseball, but not exactly the highest tier. So, being able to actually experience, a day in the life, being able to personally go through that and be, shoulder to shoulder with the best players in the game and being able to compete against them is something that's really awesome.
Did you notice a huge maturity difference between the D1 hitters and pro baseball hitters?
I think just in terms of the hitters specifically, I think coming from college, you'll have guys in the lineup in the top of the half of the lineup who can do some damage, and then it'll kind of fall off towards the end. But I think in a professional lineup, every hitter has strengths and every hitter can hurt you. So I think that's just another thing that keeps you sharp and knows you got to give your best stuff to every hitter.
Right. So you had a dominating 1.82 ERA in your first season of pro baseball. How did you adapt to pro baseball so smoothly?
Honestly, there wasn't that much adaptation because, you go right from the college season right to the professional season your first year. So it's kind of, you are who you are your first season, and you kind of just compete with what you have. But I think just competing with my best stuff and knowing what the hitters are looking for in certain counts and being able to throw stuff that they're not necessarily looking for, I think really helped me out.
Right. And to move on from that, obviously the season is on pause. What was your biggest goal for this season, and at what level did you see yourself finishing this season at?
I think a goal for the offseason was just to put on some weight, to lift more, get stronger. I think just to become a more refined pitcher. I started pitching actually my senior year of college. I was a position player up until that point, so I'm relatively new in terms of pitching and everything that goes into that. So I think having a full off season to really just embrace being a pitcher and going about everything with that singular focus was something that I was looking forward to. In terms of the level this year, I wasn't exactly sure. I was just going to spring training, trying to impress my, staff and everything, and whatever they put me was wherever they were going to put me.
Like you said, you just started pitching your senior year of college. How did you adapt to pitching so well?
Honestly, I think it was more of like a mental thing. So when I first started pitching, I was still a position player at the time. So I was kind of just like, screw it, I'm going to go pitch and whatever happens, happens. So I think it wasn't exactly my main focus at the time because as I was still playing the field. So I think that kind of helped me just from an aspect of I didn't put too much pressure on myself when I first started pitching. And then once I became a PO, I already had that confidence and that experience of not really letting, the pressure get to me and stuff like that.
Right. So I don't know if you've heard of this, but Trevor Plouffe has reported that there could be possibly a spring training number 2 starting June 10th, and then opening day for teams starting July 1st. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm all for it. Whatever, as long as the players and players' families and fans, there might not be fans, but as long as everyone can be safe and we can play, I'm all for it. Everything now is obviously just rumors and stuff, but hopefully we get to playing some baseball soon.
Would you be fine if there were no fans?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. Listen, I come from a
Usually.
mid-major D1 school in Philly, right to the GCL. So listen, I'm about as accustomed to playing with no fans as anybody out there.
We just want to get back into it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So not only were you a stud baseball player in high school, but you were also a 2-time basketball letterman. How do you think playing basketball helped your athleticism in baseball?
I think just keeping everything simple and just trying to stay as athletic as possible in baseball and just movement in general. Guys on my team, my basketball team, actually out of the 5 guys that were the starting basketball team, 4 of them went on to play college baseball. 3 of us went on to play professional baseball. So our basketball team was entirely baseball guys. So one of my teammates, Eli Napoltz, got drafted by the Brewers. Another teammate, Travis Blankenhorn, went in the 3rd round to the Twins out of high school, and my other buddy played college baseball. So, that was kind of like a unifying theme amongst us, that we all just loved playing basketball and just staying athletic, and that helped us definitely playing baseball.
That's cool. Do you think playing basketball helped your pitching as well?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think just in terms of maybe just the mental aspect of, we were playing basketball in a lot of high pressure situations, and just learning how to problem solve and work through pressure, I think can help in not only baseball but everything.
So to move on from that, you also won multiple academic awards while in the midst of dominating college baseball. How were you able to stay consistent in the classroom and on the diamond?
I think to touch on that, I think from the start of college and even in high school going into college, I really like playing professional baseball wasn't even, remotely a thought in my head, because I honestly just didn't think I was good enough. So going into college, it was like academics first, not necessarily, sports second, but academics was always a huge, important factor for me in deciding what college I went to, and also during college, just staying focused in the classroom and stuff, because ultimately I really didn't think playing professional baseball was in the cards. So obviously I would have had to go to grad school or med school or get a job doing something. So that was always really important to me.
When did you really realize that you were capable of playing pro baseball?
Honestly, not even till about halfway during my senior year. So yeah, it was that quick. I mean, I went into my senior year. That was my first year as a PO, and had a really good start to the season. Started getting some accolades and some interest and stuff like that. And then towards the middle of the season, some scouts started to come see me, and that was when I was like thinking, hey, maybe this could happen. Who knows? And then got invited to a pre-draft workout for the Phillies, and threw really well there, and then got the call. So it happened really, really quick.
So the scouts really started showing up when you started pitching?
I mean, not necessarily at the start. I mean, I really had to pitch well and stuff to get some looks, because I was on nobody's watch list or leaderboards going into my senior year. So I had to certainly start pitching well and to get some buzz and have some people check me out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said earlier, you just started pitching your senior year of college, and now you're at the top of the records list for a lot of records at LaSalle College. How does that feel now, and how do you think that has improved your confidence?
I think just being able to actually leave some sort of impact on the program is definitely important to me, because realistically, my first 3 years of college, I was a pretty mediocre to below average position player. So I think just being able to leave the school knowing that I contributed to something, and even senior year we got a lot more wins than we used to. So I think that was just something that was really cool to do, because who knows, if I don't start pitching, I just probably go through another senior year and don't do well, and then I kind of just leave without really making a mark at all.
And you obviously were a hitter in your first couple of years of college and even in high school. You think that's helped your pitching now?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I was also a catcher too for a long time, and then I played a bunch of positions once I got to college. But I think being a hitter and a catcher has helped me tremendously in my pitching. So not only just from a catching aspect of, pitch sequencing and learning pitchers and learning what batters are looking for what, and
Right.
being able to look at swings and swing path and stuff like that. I think that's helped me out a lot as a pitcher, and a lot of other guys don't really have that experience.
Yeah, it's definitely understandable. So you really could play anywhere in high school, huh?
High school, I was mostly just a shortstop and catcher. And when I got to college, I caught my freshman year. Sophomore year, moved to outfield and first base. Junior year, an outfield, and then pitched a little bit at the end of my junior year. And then senior year was just a pitcher. So played all over the place, but that wasn't necessarily good things. They were probably just trying to find places where I could hit, and that didn't work out so well.
Yeah. So that wraps up all my questions for this interview. I thank you for taking your time out of your day during this quarantine isolation period. Thank you for joining. I wish you the best in the rest of your career, and we'll for sure stay in touch.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for having me on.
For sure. Thank you, Connor.